Recording. All right. Question number 7. We're doing homework corrections. Rearrange each of the following formula to make the letter in the bracket the subject. Right now, the subject is K, but we need to rearrange this equation so that H becomes the subject. Now, you need good basics of algebra here in order to move everything around and make this the subject. Please raise your hand and tell me, in order to make H the subject, what is allowed to move at the moment?
From 2
Yeah, only plus 2 can go to the other side. If we intend to make this the subject, we're holding this entire equation here and we can only move 2 to the other side. In a way, we're subtracting 2 on both sides. Okay, so it's going to be 1 upon h plus 1 equals to k minus 2. Step number 1. Okay. Now again, our agenda is to make H the subject. Okay. What is allowed to move? Yes. That is very yes. This entire thing can move. Not 1 plus 1 cannot move. This is one number. All of this can go to the other side. We can also write upon 1 over here. Okay, k minus 2 means k minus 2 upon 1. When you divide with 1, it's the same number. Now, he said move this to this side and this to this side. Okay, so I'm going to cross multiply and I'll bring this here and I'll bring this here. So 1 upon k minus 2 equals to h plus 1 divided by 1. Okay, I just changed the positions of these two. This went in the denominator, this came to the numerator. All right, now I don't need this anymore. Divided by 1 just means the same number. Okay, now in order to make H the subject, what needs to be moved? The plus 1 will go to the other side, become negative 1. 1 upon k minus 2 minus 1 equals to H, which is going to be the answer for the first part. You don't need to take LCM here. There's no need of that. This is a good enough answer. The answer at that will be an equivalent form of this. उधर LCM लिया होगा. LCM लिया होगा. हमने नहीं लिया. This is a good enough answer. They did one extra step which isn't required here because they did not ask us to give the answer as a single fraction. If you want to do that extra step, that's going to be like this. Let's do the extra step. Then what you'll do, you'll make the denominators the same. So you'll multiply this with k minus 2 and this with k minus 2. Let's do that. So we'll times this with k minus 2 and times this with k minus 2, like we learned in the last exercise. So k minus 2, 1 minus bracket k minus 2 equals h. Okay, remember these brackets. If you don't write these brackets, you get a wrong answer. So now we have 1 minus k plus 2 over k minus 2 equals h, which gives us, so now we get the book answer 3 minus k over k minus 2 equals to h. But I'm telling you, this was a good enough answer before we took the LCM. Okay? If you don't get any answer, then hopefully you will get some step right to get some credit. Okay, this was part A of the homework. Okay, anybody who did part B but got the answer there, correct answer. I do B. Okay, part B. Since you were unable to get the answer for part B, we'll do that as well quickly. Okay. Part B is z equals y, z minus y upon x. Right now, what is the subject in part B? But it's not. Actually, it's not. Why is z not? Yeah, sure. So Z is not the subject right now, although it's appearing to be, but it's not. Why is it not? Because there's also Z on the other side. We should only have a single Z in the equation and we should have Z equals to. So right now Z is not the subject because there's a Z here as well. We will need to fix it. We will bring both the Z's to the same side and then factorize Z out of the bracket to get it into a single Z. Okay, so what is the first step that we should do in order to achieve that? Yes. Yes, we can first move this to the other side. Nothing else can move. Numerator 6, we cannot move anything from the numerator. Only this x is allowed to move. Acha, if you want to move the numerator, how would that be? Y could actually move. Sorry, I overlooked that. Y can definitely move. Y can move and X can move. You're right. You're right. Okay. Right now I'm moving X. So we get XC equals, instead of moving Y, I suggest expand this. Numerator expand. Okay. Okay. This way it's going to get easier. You'll get the right answer through both the methods, but this would be easier. Why now? We don't have any denominator. We don't have any denominator now. When you don't have any denominator, it's actually simpler to handle. So instead of sending y there, we've expanded it so that we can avoid denominators. Now there's a z term here, there's a z term here. Let's fix that. We should only have a single z term so that we can make z the subject. So either you move this here or you move this here. I would like to move xz here so that minus y square also becomes positive. So just to make this positive. So I'm sending y square to the other side, it becomes plus y square. Then we have a zy minus xc. Now we can take z common. So y square equals z, y minus x. Now we're ready to make z the subject. How do we make z the subject? You can take z to the other side. This entire thing goes to the other side. It's multiplying here. It's multiplying here. So it'll divide here. Okay? Or you can look at it this way. We can do y minus x, divide y minus x and divide y minus x on both sides. So this and this gets cancelled, which is the same thing as moving this to the other side. So if we can do this, so can we do the g minus y at the start? हाँ, लेकिन फिर we couldn't make z the subject. एक z numerator में होता, एक z denominator में होता. We couldn't have made it the subject. Just a second. Let me write the final answer. The final answer would be z equals y squared upon x, y minus x. And some of you might get a slightly different answer. Some of you will get an answer like this, minus y squared upon x minus y. It's the same thing. It's exactly the same thing. Because if you do times minus 1 and times minus 1 here, you get the same thing. So both of them are correct answer. Yes, you can ask. When we took z common, we get y minus x. I was just showing him how does y minus x go to the other side. When you divide both sides with y minus x, that's how y minus x goes to the other side. Look at this. If you have 9 equals 3x, we have to send this 3 to the other side, right? How does that 3 go to the other side? Actually, you're doing this. This is what's happening. You're dividing both sides with 3. That's why the 3 goes to the other side. But in short, we just say just move 3 to the other side, but actually this is happening. So this is what I showed, that you divide y minus x on both sides. That's how it goes to the other side. Okay, second part is done. Okay. Anybody who was not able to do C from homework? Boys? नहीं हुआ? C का answer आ गया, so I don't need to do C with you. Is that what you're telling me? Okay, I'll do C. Okay. Okay, part C. Px upon Q equals P plus Q. Okay, we have to make P the subject. What must we do? Yes. Px equals P plus Q square. We have, again, there's a problem. We have P here and we have a P here. We need to make P the subject. Girls at the back. P should be a single P in this question. So what we can do, we can start by cross multiplying Px equals Q bracket P plus Q. So Px equals Qp plus Q squared. Now we can move the P terms to the same side. Px. I said this wasn't that hard. So, yeah, try that. If that's possible, always go for that. Okay, so P equals Q squared. Yeah, this is the answer. Or some of you might get a slightly different answer. How will it be different? You might get a minus Q squared here, times this with minus 1, and then you times this with minus 1 as well. So you get Q minus X. This is the correct answer. This is the correct answer. It's the same thing. If you were not able to do it, I will. Okay, part D. Okay. In part D, we have to make B the subject which is in a denominator and it is being added to another fraction. So we need to do a bit of effort to get it to be the subject. Okay. Here's part D. Okay. We need to get B alone. What can we do? We have a couple of options here. What can be done? Yes. That is absolutely correct. You could start by taking all of this to the other side. 1 over a can go to the other side. What will it become when it goes to the other side? Minus 1 over a. Right now it's plus 1 over a. When the entire fraction goes to the other side, you get minus 1 over a. Okay. All right. Now you will need to take LCM on the right hand side to get a to be the common denominator. For that, we know there's a divided by 1 over here. And to make the denominators the same, we can do times A times A. So 1 over B equals A minus 1 over A. Now, how do we make B the subject? Cross multiply. Let's cross multiply. Yes. Minus 1 over B होगा. Acha, रुको, I'll come to you and check your working. Okay. Right now, what I'll do, I'll cross multiply. So A into 1 is just A and A minus 1 times B, or we can just write B here. So we're very close to our target. Now B can be made the subject. How? Yeah, just move this bracket to this side. So it will be A upon A minus 1 equals B. तुम्हारा minus A upon 1 minus A बिल्कुल ठीक है. That's absolutely right. This is also considered a correct answer. If you have completely, these are exactly equivalent. If you times minus 1 and times minus 1 here, you get the same thing. It's the same fraction. It's exactly the same fraction. It's just written in a different way. Okay, yes. All right, now we're done with the homework corrections. Now we move on to question 8, which I think is a calculator question. Looks like it. Given that V equals to, that seems like a very scary formula, pi r square h plus 2 over 3 pi r cube. Do you remember pi r square h from somewhere, by the way? क्या इसका formula? Radius of V. volume of a cylinder. This is volume of cylinder. And 2 by 3 pi r cube is volume of half a sphere, which you have not studied yet. You haven't studied this, but you know this. Okay. So make H the subject of the formula. We need to make this the subject. So how do we do that? Right now, V is the subject. We need H to be the subject. So how do we move around the rest of the values? Pi r square cannot break from H. Or 2 over 3 pi r cube can go to the other side and become minus 2 over 3 pi r. ये अटैच है इसके साथ, it cannot break that. So we can move we can write V minus 2/3 pi r cube equals pi r squared H. Okay, now you could move this pi r square to the other side, yes? Common, but we need, you could, that would be a different method, but it will lead to the same answer as this one. Okay, acha. Now we have pi r square times H, and now nothing is being added to it. Now pi r square can go to the other side. However, we don't have a single fraction here. First, we need to fix that. Can we change this into a single fraction? LCM. Yep, we can. So we will write it divided by 1 here. Okay. Now to make denominators the same, we'll times this with 3 and times this with 3. So 3v, we do times 3 times 3. 3v minus 2 pi r cube whole divided by 3 equals pi r squared h. Now what do we do? To make it, you could cross multiply, just move this to the side here. Only move this to the side because we need to get h alone. Why bring 3 over here? Keep 3 over there. Just move pi r square with 3. It's in the numerator right now. It'll go to the denominator. So we'll have 3v, yeah, minus 2 pi r cube upon 3 pi r square. This should be the final answer for part 1. क्या लिखा हुआ? उन्होंने स्प्लिट किया हुआ डिनोमिनेटर, हमने नहीं किया स्प्लिट. इसका एलसीएम लोगे, you'll get the same answer. क्योंकि जब देखो स्प्लिट करेंगे ना डिनोमिनेटर, so this 3 and this 3 will cancel. दूसरे के साथ तो 3 होगा ना. So this is a good enough answer. Okay. All right. Second part. Find the value of H when V is 1000 and R is 7. So all that is left to do is substitution. Yes? Calculator. I would need you to give me the answer. I don't have my calculator on me. Okay. So we'll have for part 2, all you need to do is substitute these values. V is now 1000. We'll replace this V with 1000 and R is now 7. So we'll replace every R with 7. Okay. So we have 3 times 1000. Enter this in the calculator. Minus 2 pi 7 cube divided by 3 pi into 7 square. First, you'll write a rounded long answer followed by the rounded answer. Can I borrow a calculator from somebody, please? Girls, do you have one? Can I borrow it? 3 into 1000 minus 2 pi times 7
equals to 872 point something.
1.89. Which answer check? I'm getting 1.89. After 1.82945 rounded to 1.83. Okay, I'll come and check what you got wrong in the calculator. 1.82945. rounded to three significant figures. How do I round this to three significant figures? 1.83. 1.83 is the final answer. Probably centimeters or whatever. Okay.
नहीं वो क्योंकि मैम मैंने फ्रैक्शन की यूज करो देखो फ्रैक्शन की है बीस टाइम्स क्या लिखते हैं remember to take this back from me.
Then what's your name? Remember to take this back from me when I head out. When मेरी pocket में चला जाएगा मुझे शाम को पता चलेगा that I brought your calculator. ठीक है? Remember to take it from me. Okay. So okay, now we proceed to the next question, which is 9. Who just sighed so loudly? Thank you for taking instructions so well. All right. चलें जी. Yeah, quite. Quite. Okay. Rearrange each of the following formula to make the letter in the brackets the subject. We have to make R the subject. R is right here. So we have at the moment V equals 4 over 3 pi R cube, and somehow we need to get this R to be alone. Record. Okay, it is recording. All right, let's resume. So we need to make girls, everybody. All right, we need to make R the subject. So right now 3 can go to the other side directly, and we'll have 3V equal. We'll have 3V equals 4 pi R cube. Again, we'll keep R cube intact, and we can just move 4 pi to the other side. R cube stays the same, so we can do 3V upon 4 pi equals to R cube. Now the question was to make R the subject, not R cube the subject. But we have a technique that can get rid of this cube. If you want to get rid of the cube, you can take cube root on both sides. Okay? To get rid of the cube, we will be taking cube roots on both sides. So cube root here and a cube root here. What the cube root does is, it will kill this cube, and we'll be left with R equals cube root of the entire fraction. Now, some students make this blunder. When they're writing the final answer, they make the cube root symbol very small, and it appears like the cube root is only on the numerator. This is wrong. You will get penalized for that. So make sure when you're taking cube root, your cube root appears to be on both the numerator and denominator. This is the right way of writing it. This is wrong. Don't leave it like that. Okay. 9A is done. Now we move to 9B. Ashok, you did not copy anything. You've kiya hai? Achha, then it's fine. Okay. Move on to B. So, all right, part B. Reminder for 8 blue. Test of 1C on Monday. Part B. V squared equals U squared plus 2AX. And we need to make U the subject. Okay. Who can tell me what needs to be done here? We need to make u the subject, but first we'll make u square the subject because there is a square on u. Yes. How do we rearrange so that we can try to get u alone? Minus u squared. No, u squared stays here. Yeah. All of this can go to the other side. It becomes minus 2as. So we can write v squared minus 2as equals u squared. And now we have a square on u. But we know a technique that can get rid of this square. What is that? Take square root on both sides. Very good. So when we square root this side and when we square root this side, the square and square root just cancel each other out and we're left with the u. So v squared minus 2as square rooted is equals to u. Okay, this will be the final answer. We've managed to make u the subject and u equals square root v square minus 2s. Okay. Can anybody tell me, will this square and square root cancel out? Boys and girls, obviously. Yes. This square and square root cannot cancel because the square is not on everything. If we had a square on everything, we also have a square root on everything. They would have cancelled. But right now, the square is only on V and the square root is on everything. So they do not cancel. Okay? No, 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 no. 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 All right. All right, part C. We have to make x the subject, which is inside a square. Okay. How do we get this x alone?
First, we q go.
Yeah, move q to the other side. It will become minus q. So y minus q equals x minus p whole squared. No, don't expand it. There's no need to expand it. If you'll expand it, you'll be getting multiple x terms. Then we won't be able to make x the subject. You'll have x squared. Let me do that. You're not supposed to do this. X squared minus 2xp plus p squared. You can't make this x the subject. Even if you move p square to the other side, you won't get a single x. You'll have an x square and an x as well. Single x banega hi. So don't expand this at all. Instead, we can still get this x alone if we first get rid of this 2. How do we get rid of this power 2? Square root on both sides. So a square root here and a square root here. Now the square and square root will cancel out because the square root is on everything and the square is also on everything. So this is gone and we have square root of y minus q equals x minus p. Now we're very close to our answer. How do we get x alone?
Ma'am, minus p will go first.
Yeah. Move minus p to the other side.
Ma'am, p plus square root y.
Yeah, you can write plus p at the start or plus p in the end. It's up to you. You can even write p plus that square root. And this will be equals to x and done and dusted. X is the subject now.
Ma'am, plus p won't get any.
No, no, no. It's minus p. When it goes to the other side, it becomes plus p. It's not multiplying here. If it were multiplying here, we would have divided it on the other side. Okay? All right. Moving on to part D. Part D is t equals square root of 4z.
Can we square the square root?
Yes, we will definitely square the square root because our objective is to get this z alone. We need to make this z the subject. But there's a whole square root on it. First, we'll get rid of the square root. What kills the square root? Squaring both the sides. So we're going to take a square here and take a square here. Now, since the square root is on everything and the square is on everything, they cancel out. We get t squared equals 4z upon m minus 3. Okay. Now again we need to get z alone. What needs to move first? Yeah. All of this is allowed to go to the other side. Here it's dividing, there it'll multiply. So we can write t squared m minus 3 equals 4z. M minus 3 was dividing. Now m minus 3 is multiplying. Okay, now you don't need to expand this. There's no point of expanding this. Yes, just move 4 to the other side. So in the last step, we can do t squared upon m minus 3 whole divided by 4, like this. Even you can write it like this. Even if you write a small 1/4 over here, that's also allowed. Okay? It's the same thing. Okay? Or you write it like this. Okay, this was part D. Okay. So how many of these have you done already? कौन से क्वेश्चन का मतलब 9 के बाद 10 भी कर लिए अच्छा ठीक है 9 सारे हो गए और now we do 10. I'll let you guys go 10 minutes early because you guys were a very good class, the white section. मैंने तो कुछ नहीं किया ना उन बेचारों को तो ये पढ़ाना भी नहीं था पढ़ा so 15 minutes early okay हाँ everybody okay all right question number 10 a equals square root of 3b plus c over b minus c we have to it says express b in terms of a and c what exactly are they asking for here make what the subject express b that means b equals something something in terms of a and c so we need to make b the subject okay you can't make b the subject there's a big fat square root on it big square root on it so now we square both the sides to get rid of the square root so we start by squaring both sides. So a squared equals the square root on the right gets eliminated because we took a square on it. I took a square here, the square and square root cancel. That's why there's no square root here and there's a square. All right. Now we will first need to get rid of the denominator. So a squared bracket b minus c equals 3b plus c. Next, we'll expand and then move all the b terms to the same side. Okay, give me a second. Let's see if our answer match. Let me finish. Okay. So we'll have a squared b minus 3b equals a squared c plus c. My objective is to make b the subject. So that's why we've moved both the b terms to the same side. Now what do we do? Yeah, we take b common. So, because we need b's on the same side. So there's a b here and there's a b here. So expansion is mandatory. Okay, so we can take b common and that solves our problem because now we have a single b term instead of two b terms. We could, but that's an additional step. You absolutely can. You can if you want to. Okay. So we need to make b the subject. So I'll do b equals, what should be the final answer? Yeah, a squared c plus c upon a squared minus 3. And a better answer is always a factorized answer. So a better answer would be c also is outside of the bracket a squared plus 1 upon a squared minus 3. This is even a better answer than this because examiner always prefers a factorized answer. Please do not end up cancelling these a square. That is not how math works. These a square do not cancel.
Okay.
Hence, find the length of the pendulum if it takes 20 को 12 बनाना or 20 collisions. Possibility is there. Physics का सवाल है. अपने आंसर को डिवाइड बाय 20 करो. आता है इसका आंसर. Okay, but this is physics. All right. Part 2. Part 2 is find the value of B when A is 2 and C is 5. Now all we need to do is substitute the values. So find B when C is 5. So we replace C with 5 and A is 2. So we replace A with 2. Okay. Enter this in, even this is a non-calculator question, by the way. We don't need a calculator for this one. It becomes 5 times. What does the bracket become? 5. And what does the denominator become? Which is 1. So what's the final answer? 25. No calculator was required. Okay? Okay? So we just substituted our values. We don't do third part. I don't know, Jeff. There's no need to do that. अच्छा ठीक है. We don't need to do part 3. 11 का भी we'll only do one part. 2 minutes रुक जा. I am also done. Okay. All right. Question 11. Okay. Last part, guys, and then you guys get to go. Okay. We're only doing part 1 of this. Express L in terms of T. Okay. Express L in terms of T and G. This is our formula. What do we need to make the subject according to the statement? Yeah, we need to make this L the subject. Okay, so I'm going to rewrite this. T equals 2 pi square root L upon G. Okay. I need to get this L to be alone. I need to make L the subject. What is allowed to move? We can't square right away. If you square right away, इस पूरे पे square करना पड़ेगा. And that square and square root will not cancel. Will this subtract when it goes to the other side? Divide. It'll divide. When 2 pi goes to the other side, it will divide because right now it's multiply. So T upon 2 pi equals square root of L upon G. Now you can take square root. Earlier, if you would have taken the square, these wouldn't have cancelled. Why? Because the square root was not on everything, but the square was on everything. Now, if you square both sides, now the square and square root will cancel out because the square root is on everything and square is on everything as well. So cancels. And let's expand the left hand side. If I open the square, what will I get? P square upon 4 pi square. Very good. Equals L upon G. One more step left. Yeah, just move the G to the other side. Don't move this to the other side. We just need to get L alone. So only this goes to the side. And we have gt squared upon 4 pi squared equals L. Thank you so much. You guys were excellent.
So why? Because I would get that.